Then I want to do. I'll cool us. Okay.
This
Okay.
is audio
Crew.
engineer abuse.
Rolling.
I will not take this.
The thing with Bollywood, right? Especially, even if you see old movies, right? That when you did see them, they were movies you really liked and stuff like that.
Huh.
Today, you watch them and your sensibilities have changed so much. And Bollywood has also changed a lot, in terms of it's become super script driven, corporate.
Corporate?
Yeah, it's
What do you
become
mean?
very corporate, dude. They have Monday to Friday, weekends off,
So it's
PF.
become more like Hollywood sort of structure.
Yeah, it's most at least the studios, right? Dude, like I was earlier and all, they'll do whatever they want, dude. And earlier the producers are all these like these shady builders and all who had this black money who'll put it into this Bollywood,
Oh,
okay?
okay.
It
Okay,
wasn't
okay.
it wasn't filmmakers who wanted to legitimately do something in this industry and create crafts rather
It was
stories.
more of like a circus, basically, like
Yeah.
of the billionaires and
Yeah, it was
billionaires
it
playground.
was a money laundering machine, dude. I was watching an Akshay Kumar interview where in the middle of the movie, the producer ran out of money, okay? So in the interval, he says that I will take revenge for against the villain for all the atrocities committed against me and my family, okay? That's how the interval, the movie breaks for interval, okay?
Yeah.
And then because they didn't have the money to shoot the second half, after that it says he took revenge. That's it.
Like on
Usne
title.
badla liya. And then song. Hilarious, dude.
Too funny.
So speaking of Bollywood, Sandeep, we are known for our seamless segues, guys. Did you hear about Amitabh Bachchan?
Oh yeah, he tested positive for COVID, right?
Yeah.
He and his son, Abhishek.
And his
Wife.
daughter-in-law.
Daughter-in-law.
Aishwarya
Aishwarya
Rai.
Oh, really?
And his granddaughter.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Aradhya.
Aradhya.
Yeah.
Weird name.
Yeah. Aradhya. Yeah. Actually, I don't know any other person called Aradhya. But I don't even know what the quarantine laws are anymore. It's just really confusing. At least when we were in lockdown, the laws were kind of clear. Don't step out of your house. One law.
Basically, yeah.
And if you go to any place, if the rules permit you to go like with an e-pass, you'll have to do a 14-day quarantine.
Home quarantine, yeah. It was all set in
Home or
stone.
state, institutional. Again, that was a full confusing system at the time.
Yeah.
Now you really don't know when. Like I know so many people who are just home quarantining with having tested positive for this virus.
Oh, they're not even seeking.
Yeah, I mean they've been told that if situation gets worse, if you feel bad, just call us and we'll send an ambulance.
Okay.
Right. So even with the Bachchans, the father and son Amitabh and Abhishek are in hospital. Okay. But the Aishwarya and Aradhya are not.
Oh, so you can choose to stay at home if the symptoms are not that bad. Is that?
I don't know. And also it's pretty scary, right? Because Amitabh Bachchan got corona, which basically means like this is officially a virus that is affecting. It's serious because it's affecting the upper echelons of our society, right?
Yeah.
And usually, any disease or any virus gets mainstream attention only when it affects the rich and the powerful. Right? Otherwise, like so many diseases come and go, right? Cholera, and you were talking to me about the bubonic plague.
Yeah, the bubonic plague. It's mostly amongst the underprivileged class of people and
in slum areas, in areas where the hygiene factor is very less.
Sanitary issues, right? There's not good enough sanitation. That's why these viruses thrive. And that just goes unnoticed a lot of times until somebody mainstream, like somebody from the royal family gets hit.
Royal family,
And the thing.
Nobility, right?
Nobility.
So Amitabh Bachchan is nobility, right? Royal, right? And he got it. And I think there are varying reports as to how he got it. Apparently, he had some people come over to his place to record some promotional stuff for Kaun Banega Crorepati, which is apparently coming out soon. Okay. So that's apparently how it spread. And he got it, Abhishek got it. And immediately, of course, they got admitted to like the best hospital.
Hospitals, yeah.
But the thing is that any single thing that these celebrities do, right, it leads to outrage, dude. It
They
constantly
can't do
leads to
anything
outrage.
right ever.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, Amitabh Bachchan and Abhishek Bachchan got corona, so they have been given the best facilities.
High
And
class
what
treatment.
about all the other 1 lakh people who don't have beds and this, that, and all? Why do both issues have to be
Yeah,
discussed in the same breath?
same. Yeah, exactly. It makes no sense to pull them into it, right? It's a very sort of communistic mentality where it's almost like hate the bourgeoisie class and
Yeah. So you can say that, hey man, this how lucky they are, or
yeah,
I wish I was them, or
yeah,
oh man, it pays to be rich and
yeah.
famous in our country, whatever.
Mm.
But to say that, oh, because this is happening, this is not
Not
happening.
happening. Yeah,
I mean, just drawing corollaries
yeah.
when doesn't necessarily have to be a
Correlation
connection.
doesn't equal causation at all.
Yeah, at all, right?
Yeah,
Here.
it's
The man's
ridiculous.
worked hard to earn whatever money and respect.
Mm.
He's 77 years old. So what
Yeah,
are you expecting him to do?
not
Not get good treatment?
yeah, like forgo good
Yeah.
treatment.
And if people who
Yeah.
are who adore him,
Mm.
right, want to give him that respect by giving him privileged treatment
Yeah.
in terms of first care and maybe a better room or whatever
Mm.
the privilege he gets, right?
Yeah.
24/7 monitoring or whatever it is. I think that's something that the man has earned throughout his
Yeah,
career, right?
exactly.
A long
He's earned
career.
it. It's not like that money just fell on his lap or he stole that money
Yeah,
from the poor or
yeah,
something like that, right? He's earned it
yeah,
through a long career and
yeah.
he's hustled his way to that.
Abhishek, I don't know. But yeah,
But
Amitabh for sure.
whatever, that
Yeah,
Amitabh has created that
yeah,
ecosystem
yeah.
for Abhishek also. Like
He has, dude.
that,
I'll tell you the perspective, right? So when I heard this news, I
mm,
was thinking of it like how we were discussing it. Oh, the rich and the
yeah,
elite have got corona, and this is getting like really serious and blah blah whatever. Those are my
yeah,
thoughts, right?
yeah,
And I was like, oh, poor guy. I hope he recovers. And I was thinking more from,
mm,
oh man, if Amitabh Bachchan dies or something happens to that man, that
yeah,
legend, it's going to be really bad. It's
yeah,
going to be
it's gonna be,
terrible.
yeah,
The entire country is going to definitely, mourn him a lot. He's a giant, right?
yeah,
But I was not personally affected
by it,
by
yeah,
any means, right?
yeah, yeah,
I was just looking at it
yeah,
very factually, so to say.
mm,
But then I go downstairs at home
mm.
and I go to my grandmother's room. I just say hi to her, and she's praying, dude.
Oh my
You know,
God.
she's praying and all that, and I'm like, what happened,
What
right?
mm.
It's like, no, no, I'm praying for Amitabh Bachchan.
Oh my
And
God.
poor man, what a good man, what a nice
Like,
man. He
mm,
deserves all the support he can get. And she's telling me stories of how different people, and she was watching the news apparently, how
mm.
someone is fasting until he gets cured, how someone has, done some crazy donation or
To
some
a
crazy
temple.
sacrifice to a
Huh.
temple so that he gets cured. It's just people are going nuts.
Wow.
And this is the second time this is happening
Hap-
to Amitabh Bachchan in his career, right?
mm.
You know the first time?
No.
I think in the 70s, okay, I'm not 100% sure. We can look it up.
Mm.
He was shooting for Coolie, I think, a movie called Coolie.
Okay.
I think, okay, I'm not 100% sure. And in Bangalore. And there was an action scene where he had to jump over a table. Okay.
Okay.
What happened is he didn't jump high enough, so the corner of the table hit him somewhere. All right.
Okay.
And at first, people thought he just got the wind knocked out of him, but escalated really quickly. And I think some vital organ got damaged. And
Oh
he
my
was
God.
admitted in the hospital for a while. Dude,
Okay.
I still remember stories of what my mother told me about my grandfather,
Mm.
who was a very stoic guy, he was in the army and stuff, a very stoic guy. He wouldn't do this kind of stuff. He apparently went to the temple and donated stuff and prayed for him.
Upgrade. Wow.
And dude, there are stories of that time of people who walked like thousands of kilometers, hundreds of kilometers barefoot for him. People
As a
again who fast.
penance,
Yeah,
so that
exactly.
he'll get healed.
Yeah, dude, the entire
Wow.
country prayed for him, dude. And it is supposed to be some sort of a miracle that he recovered
Oh,
because
okay.
something extremely this thing had happened with his health.
Mm.
The injury that he had sustained was very serious.
Okay.
He still every time like people talk about him of that
Mm.
generation,
Yeah.
they refer to this incident and said we prayed for you and we did this for you, and he always says आपकी दुआओं की वजह से मैं जिंदा हूँ आज." And, he's very humble and
It's
grateful about
almost
it.
godlike.
Dude, like Amitabh Bachchan,
Mm.
that man's legacy is insane, dude.
Yeah.
When the country didn't really have too many avenues of entertainment,
Mm.
right? And there was a whole bunch of um, there was an economic slowdown, there was a recession, there were So a lot of different things happening. When Amitabh Bachchan came out onto the scene, right? He taught the country what it was like to be entertained at that large scale again. And
he
yeah,
was
man.
almost a pioneer in that way.
So here, I mean, so there's a pair of writers, okay, Javed Akhtar and Salim. Salim is
Javed
Salman
Akhtar
Khan.
was a guy who wrote for Gully Boy? Or?
He's Farhan Akhtar's dad.
Oh, okay.
So he penned some of the poems and stuff like that. Yeah, he did. He wrote I think some of the songs also. Very big, very learned man, very respected lyricist and writer in Bollywood. And Salim Khan, who's Salman Khan's father. So Salim Javed were a thing. They were the hottest hit makers, writer duo of the 70s and the 80s.
Oh wow!
Right? They made, I think they wrote 12 films or 11 films, and all were like massive blockbusters. Amitabh Bachchan's Angry Young Man image has come. They wrote Sholay.
Oh, they wrote Sholay.
Yeah, they wrote Sholay. They wrote a whole bunch of movies. They wrote Dawn. I think they wrote Agnipath. I'm not sure. So all your big Bachchan movies that cemented his career were written by Salim and Javed.
So with all this outrage culture, you heard about that actor Sushant Singh who committed suicide, and people went crazy, right? There's so many scandals that came out of it where they blamed producers, they blamed people in Bollywood for his death, and what was that all about? I don't know. I wasn't able to follow it.
I mean, so yeah, man, and it's the problem, right? Like again, it's the same problem with Amitabh Bachchan getting this treatment for corona and other people not having access to treatment. There's literally doesn't necessarily have to be a connection there. And here also I feel this way, right? Sushant Singh Rajput passing away due to mental health issues, depression, whatever those issues are, is something that definitely needs to be corrected within the industry, because it's a very nasty place to be in from all accounts.
It's a very toxic industry.
Yeah, I mean, it's a place where and now the industry kind of people are talking more openly.
Even for A-listers like him, it's a toxic place. Okay.
He was an A-lister, I think, but
or borderline A-lister.
Borderline A-lister. He definitely was. I think you could call him an A-lister. He did pretty big. His last movie, I think, Chichore, was a big success.
Okay.
Sushant Singh's. But the problem with the deeper problem here is that the culture of pulling other people down, the crab mentality, is the highest here, dude. Right? Everybody's jealous of everybody's success. It is terribly rife with people backbiting, pulling each other down, just spreading hate and negativity to great magnitudes, right? And the people who've survived in the industry, who are successful, big people, are all mentally very strong.
And they managed to distance themselves from this hate. And
they're just very, very strong. And more than a strong body, they have a very strong mind.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why they've been able to be at the top of their game. With Sushant's death, what really, I mean, stood out for me at least was how everything has to be some sort of scandal, right? He passed away, right? And maybe he did lose out on a movie.
Yeah.
Right? But the producer has the right to choose the person that he deems fit for the script that he has bought.
And he has the right to reject whoever.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it's always very merit based or the producers are extremely nice and trustworthy people. No, but that is something you've got to accept about the industry, right? That they are going to be playing favorites. They're going to be looking at how popular individuals are, because at the end of the day, they've got to recover crores.
And also on the flip side of this, everybody talked about Sushant Singh and said he had a beautiful career. He was very rich. He had a nice house. What does he have to be depressed about?
Why is he depressed?
Why is he depressed? Why would he commit suicide? He's weak.
He's weak. Yeah.
And that's really sad and toxic on the other side of it, right? Industry on one side, and then people's notion about mental health itself on the other side.
I mean, or people saying that he was depressed because he got rejected out of 2 movies. That's why he died.
Yeah, that's trivializing depression.
Trivializing or I don't know if you can isolate it to something like, oh, this is the trigger, this is what happened. It's
not as
not
simple as
it's
that.
not an equation.
Yeah.
Right. But people in India, at least, don't like nuance, right? It's much easier to say, see, money and power and success are not the only things. It's a good story for like someone to, some elderly person to tell children, right? See, don't chase money and power and all. Be a good human being. Respect your mother and father. See, he was living alone with his girlfriend without marriage. That is why this happened to him.
I'm
It's
sure
just a
all of
chance
that
to
will come.
rub the whole cultural, masala.
It's cultural policing in the end,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Yeah.
Policing, or just like just like tom-tomming, chest thumping about why something happened to him. And in general, right, most, like not most, but there's a whole chunk of our population who still thinks Bollywood and anyone associated with it are some sort of I don't know, some sort of cabaret performers.
Oh, okay. Like I think I know what you mean. Like sort of like down and dirty. So
Yeah, like there's some
like the dark
disrespect in it.
underbelly of culture, basically.
Yeah, they don't. They think, theater and poetry and all of that is extremely cultural and blah blah. These Bollywood people, and I'm sure just having sex all the time, snorting cocaine, sleeping around with other people's wives. That's just one very
It's like what
dirty.
jazz musicians will feel about DJs, probably. Something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a Hindi word. Okay, it's called mujra. Mujra. It basically means the dancers for the kings and all, no? Who were borderline prostitutes.
Okay.
Right? So, mujra karne wali, naach basanti, chamiya.
Essentially cabaret performers.
Cabaret, right? But cabaret didn't...
Provocative.
They're basically people who do anything for money. That's the kind of thing people have. And if Bollywood wasn't making that much money and wasn't so relevant to the culture, it probably wouldn't have that many politicians wanted to be associated with it.
Yeah.
It's because of its own self-fulfilling success that it's got that much of a leeway from the government because the money is just staggering.
And also, I think the paparazzi also would have had a field day with this, right? All the tabloids and the publications where they just headline hunt and find these sort of juicy bits of information.
These paparazzis and all, no, like these guys are just like, I've seen videos, okay, where his mother or father or girlfriend is going to like the funeral or is going to like give an interview in the police station about what they feel has happened, and the paparazzi are like, Ria madam, hey, photo, Ria madam, idhar, left, right. At least in India, it's not as prevalent and as much of a menace as it is abroad, dude. Abroad, they can literally like take a telephoto lens and like go
spy on you.
Spy on you, dude. You have naked picture celebrities who come out
on a regular basis. Right? That happens. It's so sad.
Poor people are just vacationing, skinny dipping in Hawaii or something. And if they
on their own swimming pool in their house, they're just swimming in their house.
And next thing they know, they're on the front page of like some tabloid.
Yeah.
And dude, I remember this really cool interview where Jimmy Kimmel was filling in for some news anchor, okay? And it was this girl, okay, this really clueless girl who was the founder of some tabloid called, I think it was called Gawker, but we'll have to check once.
Okay.
Where they had some sort of celebrity heat map, okay? Wherein, say, for example, in New York City, you saw someone, let's just say you saw Tom Hanks or whoever, you saw some celebrity on a particular street, say Street A. So you go to your app, and you say Tom Hanks spotted on Street A. Okay.
Oh my God.
So then someone else will be like, oh, I'm also on Street A. So he goes, suddenly he's like, oh, Tom Hanks took left on Street B. So literally they're tracking the movements too. So people, and then more people are getting involved. And this dude has just stepped out from his house to buy bread and eggs or whatever. Right? He's suddenly now being tracked.
So it's a platform that is used for tracking celebrities.
They got a celebrity heat map.
Joining us from New York, a woman who's actually changing this game dramatically, Emily Gould. She's the editor of the website Gawker.com. Hello, Emily.
Hi, Jimmy.
And you look like a very pleasant woman, and but I have to say that tell everyone what you do, what goes on your website.
Well, I think that maybe the issue that you have might be with our Gawker Stalker map. Am I right?
Well, yeah. I think that. Well, explain what that is exactly.
The Gawker Stalker map tells you where celebrities have been sighted in New York City at any given time. So you can sort of scroll around and see, Jude Law was shopping for condoms at the Duane Reade in Midtown, or
So if people are out and they have their cell phones, they can send a little message to you and say, "I just saw Gwyneth Paltrow at the movies," and that way, when Gwyneth Paltrow comes out of the movies, there can be at least a dozen psychopaths waiting for her.
When Kimmel asked her about what is her sense of morality about this, she said celebrities have a ton of money, so they probably deserve this or something of the sort.
Oh my God.
And he really gave it to her.
Yeah.
He really gave it to
With good reason. Pranav, you delved into stand-up a little, right?
her. Yeah.
So what do you feel about the whole culture behind being a comedian, or even in a small scale that you have done or you've seen people do?
Yeah, I did stand up. I've not done much to it. I did a bunch of open mics and maybe a few shows. But yeah, I actively follow the industry, and I've been wanting to generate more time for myself so that I can pursue it with more vigor. But it's really tough, macha. It's really tough to. I mean, as an art form, it's tough, right?
Tough, yeah.
To go in front of so many people and make them laugh, and instantly people compare you with the greatest, right? Suddenly you go on stage, and the moment you put something out there, instantly it's compared with something Seinfeld has put, right? Because it's just that people are seeing both of the
Compared
same.
in the sense, do people say, "Oh, you copied the joke"?
No, not like that. Compared in the sense that, see, when you put something on YouTube, Seinfeld also is putting stuff on YouTube only, right?
Yeah, on the same platform.
It's the same platform, it's the same screen they're watching it. And they're going to, and in their heads, they're not going to account for the fact that, oh, this guy's just started, unless they're people who know you.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
They're going to be like, oh, this is, I'm going to know, I'm used to. They have the who's who of the world to watch, right?
Yeah.
Why should they watch you?
Yeah.
It's already a tough art form. But in our country, it's just getting crazy with how.
Yeah, have you heard of that female stand-up comedian
Agrima Joshua?
Agrima Joshua, yeah.
I was just getting to that only. It's just getting really scary, man. So with the Agrima Joshua case, what do you know about it? Do you know what happened?
I think she made fun of Shivaji, Chhatrapati Shivaji.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't, dude. That's the most irritating part. First of all, this video that has come out, randomly popped out, is not even new. She uploaded it, I think, a year ago. I think more than a year ago. Okay. And she actually goes on to talk about how people on Quora are reacting to the statue that's going to be built. Where people are just like, oh, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj statue will have lasers coming out of the eyes. It'll have this, it'll have that. Just the hype culture around anything nationalistic that the government does, right? She was commenting on that, but in a very, very benign, non-offensive way.
Okay.
She was actually talking about internet culture more than... she said nothing about Chhatrapati Shivaji at all. She didn't comment on his character, good or bad, nothing. Okay. It was not even a particularly funny stand-up video.
Oh my God.
I don't even know how these goons got hold of it.
Completely misunderstood by them, and they just shifted it.
They just saw girl.
Yeah.
Okay. Not Hindu. Talking about something that is Hindu.
Yeah.
How dare she?
How dare she? Yeah.
Went and ransacked the studio, the
cafe.
Venue.
Oh my God.
The venue had the logo behind her.
They literally destroyed the venue.
They went and ransacked and trashed the venue, and they beat up the owner and said that give us the address and phone number of this woman. We will go to her place, this, that, and oh my God,
and
I
online,
can't even imagine what rape
threats, right? Online.
Yeah. She got death threats, rape threats. She has to take down the video, deactivate, issue apologies to these people, these thugs who went after her. And it's so scary, dude. Yeah. And comedians and people in the fraternity who spoke out for her, they were targeted as well, man. It's crazy. Like big comedians, like people like Rohan Joshi had to he put out a post recently where he said that he first commented on the Agrima Joshua thing and all, right? He said, what the hell is happening? Is it ridiculous and all of that? And after that, he put out a post that says, I'm taking a break from social media. I'm going off the grid for a while. His phone number got leaked. His address got leaked. And people were calling him up and death threats and all of that. And he said, I apologize, because he's quite non-apologetic because he's seen all of this, right? He's been from AIB and all. He's quite a hardened veteran of these kind of situations. But he said, I apologize if I offended anyone. Please leave my family alone.
Oh my God. He was actually scared. That was a post of true fear.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because I have seen these comments, man. I know where you live. Your mother is here. I will
Oh
do
my
this
God.
to her. Your sister is here. I will do this to her.
It's just
Dude,
scary and
oh
sick,
my
right?
God.
Yeah,
Oh my God. It's
imagine being in that
ridiculous.
situation, right?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And he's not the only comedian who spoke out about it, right? There was at least
Gaurav
few.
Kapoor spoke about cried on camera. That video also a lot of people saw. Veer Das has been commenting on this. Abhish Mathew commented on this.
Yeah.
All these comedians commented on this. And
So the point here is, okay, there's massive barriers to entry, and then on a governmental level, there's
no support.
There's no support.
There's no support.
In our
It's
constitution.
not even Bollywood. It's some grey area, right?
Yeah.
Bollywood at least has the money to demand support,
Yeah.
right? And it can get support. Like
Yeah.
people like Sushant Singh Rajput could, I mean, his death got national attention, right?
Yeah.
But stand-up comedians are on the fringe of entertainment, okay? Like even, you know this guy called Raghu from Roadies?
Raghu, the
bald
bald guy.
guy.
Yeah.
I read his autobiography, okay, and whatever the book, whatever. But in that, it's something very interesting, okay? He said that it's very difficult to be famous but not rich. Because then you have to go to the same place and interact with the same people without the added thing of security.
Oh my God, financial security.
Not financial security.
Like literal security.
Literal security. Raghu went and abused
Oh, you mean
students
he
in-
can't afford security
Yeah,
because he's not as
He's not
rich?
as rich as Shah Rukh Khan. He's not
Okay.
as rich as like Karan Johar or something, right? Where he can afford to distance himself
Yeah.
and detach himself
And
from the
have-
masses completely.
Yeah.
Right?
And have
Live
like a whole
completely elite parallel life
Yeah.
where you don't have to go to any normal place. Right? Everything either comes to your house or you go to something super elite.
Oh, that's very interesting. So he's trying to say just being famous doesn't open the doors to
No,
that.
it doesn't. And the comedians have to face this, right? You go and make a joke on stage about something someone doesn't like,
Yeah.
and then you have to catch a flight and sit next to that same person, right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
You don't have a private plane. I mean,
Plane, yeah.
comedians are making good money and all,
Yeah.
but it's nothing compared to what your big Bollywood people are making, right? So it's very difficult, dude. Rohan Joshi, Tanmay Bhatt, all these AIB boys have gone on record to talk about how their entire fortunes dwindled and they lost so much money in legal fees and security and protection costs after the roast, where people just called them Desh ke Kalank. This is called them the traitors, anti-national, this, that, and all. So it's crazy. These guys have to really go through some shit, man. For what? For actually being these extremely hyper intelligent, woke, I don't usually like the word, but these guys are woke, content creators who made their own path and are genuinely an inspiration, man, for so many content creators. And these guys have all come the hard way. They were all writers. They've written for TV. They've written for Filmfare. They've written for Stars. They've written for events. They've done a whole bunch of things. So in their short span of 10, 12 years, they've seen a lot, dude.
Yeah. And they've built something
They've
massive.
built something massive, right?
Yeah, which is
So the
commendable.
entire scene has been built by OML, AIB. All these guys are like the OG stalwarts of the scene.
but-
They deserve some respect and they deserve to be able to go out there and do their thing without having to worry about their lives.
Yeah. Also constitutionally, right? There's no real protection for freedom of speech, especially if you're dealing with some sort of observational comedy, dealing with politics, dealing with indecent situations of morality. There's literally
What is the freedom of speech laws in India?
Again, we'll put it up, but there are certain clauses. So freedom of speech exists, and then there's certain exceptions where it's as vague as if your speech causes indecency or goes against morality, whatever that means. Or
Pretty ambiguous, no?
very ambiguous, right? And there's few other clauses, but it basically doesn't protect your speech. So if I say your speech is immoral, right, and like I get 100 people to support me, we can put a case against you, even though it's very benign what you're trying to say, even though it's very simple and very observational. If I am personally hurt by it, or if it hurts religious sentiments,
Gone.
you're screwed, right? And the law doesn't protect you. You can be legally prosecuted for doing that. It's not even like, okay, there's guys threatening you on the street, but then if you call the cops, you will get protection. And that's really scary, right?
It's very scary, but also it's very new, dude. I was watching interviews of, and I don't know why this has happened, okay? I think it's something to do with the internet, right?
Okay.
This culture of offense and outrage, right? It's something new because I was watching interviews of these old Hindi comedians, right? Raju Srivastava, Johnny Lever,
Okay.
right? I don't even think you would have heard
Yeah,
of
I've
them.
not heard.
But huge, massive auditoriums they fill, right?
Okay.
And they do mimicry, and Raju Srivastava is known for his Amitabh Bachchan
Oh, they
mimicry.
do sort of a stand-up format? Or?
It's stand-up.
Oh.
It's stand-up.
wow,
They
okay.
release cassettes.
Oh, okay.
It's huge. Stand-up in India is not just English stand-up is new. Monetizing it to that level is new.
Okay.
But there was Comedy Circus and Kapil Sharma and all this. That kind of comedy has been there for years.
Okay.
Right?
That's interesting.
The history of comedy in India is to do with your... And this is again something Raju Srivastava said in an interview, okay? Raju Srivastava, for a lot of our viewers also might not know him, is one of the biggest Hindi comedians in India. And if you see his face, you must have seen him around somewhere. He's been doing television and judging and a lot of things for a while now.
Yeah.
And I think he's from Kanpur.
Okay.
And he's also very famous for his Amitabh Bachchan impression, right? So he was telling in an interview, and it was very interesting that historically, right, the role of a jester in society is to show the mirror to the society, right? More than the society, it's also to show the mirror to the ruling class, the royalty, the king, right? Because the jester has generally been allowed to get away with things that other people can't say.
Oh,
Because
that's very
it's his
interesting.
role.
Yeah.
He has to do it. He has to put in wit and tongue in the cheek and tell the king, you're doing this, but this is wrong, right? Don't you think this is wrong? No one else can say it to the king. So that is the role. Historically, street artists and performers who go out there and tell stories of the land, stories of the people in a funny manner, with mimicry, with puppet art, with so many things, which then goes on. The word of mouth of that story just spreads, and that's how so many of our stories are there.
Yeah.
Right? So these are the roles of these comedians, storytellers, jesters in our country.
There's another thing. A true sign of a tyrant is when he silences the jesters.
The jesters, right?
Like
that is so true, man. That is so true.
Yeah.
So Raju Srivastava was saying this recently because he was also commenting on trolling, and he's been doing it for 30-40 years, okay? And he was saying something very interesting. He said that in his shows, there'll be politicians who come, okay? And he'll make fun of two politicians.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't make fun of the other two or three, they'll be offended, dude. They all want him to make fun of them.
Oh, so they feel included by being in those jokes or being the butt of the joke.
Yeah,
Wow.
and he goes at them.
Personal.
Full Hindi mein personally. And I think the language that the joke is being done in is a huge factor in outrage. Because till I think about 60-70% of the people in our country who are getting offended at these English comedians think they are elitist, South Bombay, English educated rich kids who are trying to talk about the country, but they feel they are the real country. Who are these people who talk about the country? But when the comedian talks in Hindi, context is not lost.
Okay.
And they feel, this guy's talking to us, about us.
But you think this problem is exclusive to more of the English speaking comedians?
Yes. I don't think Hindi comedians will get this kind of shit, dude. Because the people who are outraging are people who I think feel some sort of anger at English. They feel that this is a class divide. And they get angry. They want to get angry at that person. Okay, they're like, who the fuck is this guy talking about my country?
Again, it's their own
wearing
insecurities.
Levi's
Right?
jeans and, it's their insecurity. It's massive insecurity, right? But I have not heard of someone wanting to kill Kapil Sharma. Someone wanted to kill Raju Srivastava, Sunil Pal, whoever these Hindi comedians are, right? But the English comedians are, of course, the more elite versions of those comedians. They are seen with women. They're seen partying. So they are seen as a vice. They're seen as evil people who are going out there and spreading hate, anti-national messages.
So very hate the rich mentality.
Yeah, it is some sort of hate the rich mentality. It is also, it's tough to define, man. It's insecurity, jealousy, anger, all mixed into one lump of hatred that gets thrown at these
No, but
poor
also
guys.
this sort of outrage culture has seeped into even my friend circle. Like people who I've known before who never used to be like this are suddenly outraged by things like this.
Yeah.
Baseless.
And they feel if they don't, they're not commenting on the issues of the nation and
Yeah.
they're unaware.
Yeah.
They feel this is the way to be part of the fabric of the
and
country.
they feel this is the way to be patriotic, and
Yeah,
if you're not
exactly.
supporting that, you're anti-national. And I don't. How do you even begin to have an argument with somebody like
don't.
that? You don't.
You don't. I have given up, man, in the sense that I used to be all, oh, this person's point is wrong and I can prove you it's wrong.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I will prove you you're wrong.
Yeah.
Now I can't do that anymore, dude. I'm like, okay, dude. I can't change your opinion.
Let's agree to disagree right there. So Agrima Joshua, she got a lot of hate, right? And rape threats. Were there any arrests for those threats that she got against her? Did she file complaints?
So there was some guy called Badass Shubham, okay, and Hindustani Bhau, some people who went and I don't know, and all of them were in their cars when they said all this stuff, okay? It was very funny. But they just went and spewed some vile hatred, dude.
क्या हंसी आई इसमें क्या हंसी है? ये नकली जो साउंड इफेक्ट डाला है ये पीछे, तो सबसे पहले तो ये जितना शो भी चलता है, जो शो चलाते हैं ना, उनकी भी माँ का भोसड़ा, और अब नहीं चलेगा। अभी तक जो हकते आए हो ना तुम, अभी किसी के भी रिलीजियन को तुम टारगेट करके किसी के सेंटिमेंट्स को हर्ट करते हो ना, तो वो नहीं चलेगा। अब तुम्हारी गांड मारेंगे हम, हाँ? और ये जो लड़की है ना अग्रिमा, जोश हुआ तो तेरी बहन को चोदू, तेरी माँ पे लगता है ओबामा चढ़ेला, तो तेरी जैसी निग्गी आ गई।
Okay.
Against her, against
her
no
mother,
one, against her, rape threats, this, that, like dirty shit, okay, dirty shit, explicitly talking about how they would want to rape her. This is dirty,
and
okay?
just mutilate her, basically.
But the internet stood up for her, man. A lot of influencers. There's a blogger, pretty big Bollywood blogger called Miss Malini. Then the other comedians and Swara Bhaskar, the Bollywood actor, who all stood up for Agrima Joshua and got this badass Shubham arrested in Baroda, right? And that was pretty good. But the thing is, I am a little cynical, man. I don't know what he's arrested. They put a photo. Okay, great. Government did a good job.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. But will he truly be prosecuted? Will he truly go to jail or pay for his sins? Or just escape and it'll be another notch in his belt? I don't know. Because the man has around 36,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah. So he has influence.
He's an influencer. Right. And they're still saying that they will look into the charges that they will file against Agrima herself.
Yeah, again, it comes down to the freedom of speech, right?
Yeah.
They can charge her.
They
legally,
can charge her.
if they feel like
they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Scary. So have you heard these stories of people selling random shit as corona vaccines?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Or cures. Yeah.
Cures and vaccines and stuff, no?
Yeah.
Some buffalo penis extract, some fucking urine extract, something all is there. But that's always been there.
Yeah.
Dude, someone tried to sell Mysore Pak, dude.
Oh my God, I think I heard of that.
Some Nellai Lala sweets fellow.
Oh my God.
Put up flyers saying that
Corona
he has
Mysore Pak.
Corona Mysore Pak, yeah.
That's hilarious, right? Who?
He put up a flyer. He put up a flyer that said his Mysore Pak has some secret ingredients and all that will cure corona. Crazy,
It's
dude.
too funny. But also the vaccine, right? That India is developing, and I think it's the ICMR who's developed. So they literally claimed that they could roll out the vaccine by August 15th, and every doctor.
Independence Day. Vaccine Day.
How dramatic is
Yeah,
that?
Akshay Kumar movie.
No, but every doctor, every serious journalist was like, "This is unprecedented. You can't put a date on something like a vaccine trial, which usually takes." On average, apparently 6 to 10 years, according to
Really?
international standards. It can take 6 to 10
No,
years
dude,
to
I think
develop
2
a
to 3
vaccine.
years also I've read articles.
Yeah, if you fast track it.
Okay.
But I'm saying
I'm
there's
sure they
danger.
fast-tracked it,
Yeah, for sure. And it needs to be fast tracked in a crisis situation. But I'm saying a normal vaccine, usually to finish all the phases of trials, takes from 6 to 10 years to properly be researched on and vetted so that it's completely safe for all demographics of human beings. Also, it's a rat race, right? Like anything.
Who owns the vaccine controls the future of the world right now.
Yeah, future of the world, and also they can monetize the vaccine. It's a big pharmaceutical company play.
Yeah.
And again, every country wants to have that pride that we developed the vaccine.
Yeah, we save the world.
We save the world, basically.
But dude, you were also telling me, that what was it? This thing that happened with polio?
So the polio vaccine again was fast tracked. So we are talking about fast tracking. So polio vaccine was fast tracked, and I think the FDA or some governing body in the US licensed the formula to a industry called Qatar Industry. And long story short, they rolled out a vaccine that had live culture of the virus, of the polio virus.
Okay.
To like I think
So you
something
get
like
infected with the
yeah.
vaccine?
So usually vaccine is a weakened or a dead virus. So your body's
okay.
immune response sort of accelerates at that point.
Okay.
But these guys messed up and they sent a live culture. So they injected, I think, around 100,000 to 120,000 people with the live culture, out of which 57,000 people were infected with the virus because it was a live virus. And
This was supposed to cure them.
yeah, this is supposed
and ended up giving them the virus.
yeah, it ended up giving them
Oh, no, it was supposed to give them immunity.
immunity.
No,
It was
gave
supposed
them
to
virus.
boost the immunity for that virus.
Against that virus.
Against that virus.
Yeah.
And it gave them the virus. And I think in the end, the death toll was about 5 to 6 people, 5 to 6 kids. And these are children because polio was for children. Right? And around 20 children were completely paralyzed. And
Shit,
again, rough numbers.
Yeah,
We'll put up the exact numbers. But again, that's the dangers of fast tracking a vaccine, right? Because it's not gone through proper trials. And again, at that time, it must have been primitive, right? The research compared to today, but it's still.
Thank you so much for watching episode number 3 of the Mathurabhoomi podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, spread the word. Give us your money, your property. I mean, let's stop at like, comment, share, subscribe. Let us know what you want us to talk about in the comments below. Sandeep, anything else?
Nothing else, yes. Please let us know. Follow us on Instagram at Mathurabhoomi, at Sandeep _
Yes, at
Raghavan.
Sandeep Raghavan.
Yes.
Cheers.